3 days ago, on April 2nd, 2026, the man who helped build XRP posted something on X that the entire XRP community has been talking about ever since. His name is David Schwartz. He goes by the username Joel Katz on X. He was Ripple's chief technology officer for over a decade. He is one of the 3 original architects of the XRP Ledger itself. He understands XRP at a technical and fundamental level that essentially nobody else on Earth can match. And 3 days ago, in a series of posts that went viral across the XRP community, he revealed 3 specific reasons why XRP will win against stablecoins in global finance. Not a marketing pitch, not a press release, not a CEO interview carefully worded for public relations. A direct technical explanation on X from the man who built the system, explaining precisely why banks and institutions will choose XRP over RLUSD, over USDT, over USDC in specific high-value use cases. I have been covering XRP on this channel for weeks, and in that time, I have told you clearly and honestly that banks are currently choosing RLUSD over XRP. Deutsche Bank chose RLUSD, SBI chose RLUSD, BlackRock chose RLUSD, and I told you the reason. Volatility concerns, compliance barriers, Clarity Act not yet passed. But today I need to complete that picture. Because David Schwartz just explained the other side of the story, the side that tells you why XRP is not going to be replaced by stablecoins, why it cannot be replaced, and why the institutions that matter most, the ones doing cross-border payments across multiple currencies, will ultimately need XRP in ways that no stablecoin can replicate. Stay with me. This is the most important video for understanding XRP's future that this channel has produced. Step 1. Who David Schwartz is and why his words carry enormous weight. Before I tell you what Schwartz said, I need to make sure you understand why his words matter more than any analyst, any YouTube channel, any Motley Fool article, any Standard Chartered price target. David Schwartz was Ripple's chief technology officer from the company's founding through 2023. He was one of 3 people who originally designed and built the XRP Ledger protocol. The other 2 were Arthur Brito and Jed McCaleb. Of those 3 original builders, David Schwartz remained deeply involved in Ripple's technical strategy the longest. When Schwartz speaks about what XRP can and cannot do, he is not speculating. He is not analyzing from the outside. He is the person who made the fundamental design decisions about how XRP works. He knows every strength and every limitation because he built them. On April 2nd, 2026, someone on X posted a question that goes to the heart of what every XRP holder is afraid of right now. The question was essentially this: banks are choosing RLUSD and stablecoins for settlement. Ripple holds 34 billion XRP tokens. Why would any global bank choose to adopt XRP if doing so also makes Ripple enormously more valuable? Schwartz answered directly, sarcastically, confidently, and with technical precision. He essentially said that suggesting banks would reject a solution that makes their own business more profitable, simply because it also benefits Ripple, is not how business works. His exact phrasing was something like this: yeah, this makes business sense for us to do and would make us money, but we don't want to do it because it also makes this other company money. He was mocking the argument, exposing it as irrational, because banks do not make trillion-dollar decisions based on whether a counterparty also benefits. They make decisions based on whether the product serves their own bottom line. That was his framing. And then he went further. He explained the 3 specific reasons why XRP beats stablecoins in specific use cases. Step 2. The first reason XRP beats stablecoins. XRP, the currency problem that stablecoins cannot solve. Here's what Schwartz said and what it means in plain language. A stablecoin can only be stable with respect to one currency. Let me make that completely clear. RLUSD is a dollar stablecoin. It is always worth $1. Always. That is its entire value proposition. But what happens when a company in Brazil needs to pay a supplier in Vietnam? There is no RLUSD solution for that transaction. The Brazilian real and the Vietnamese dong have no direct stablecoin market between them. To settle that payment in stablecoins, You would need to convert Reyes into a dollar stablecoin, send the stablecoin, and convert the stablecoin into Dong at the other end. That is 2 conversion steps. 2 sets of fees, 2 moments of price exposure. XRP solves this in 1 step. XRP is not pegged to any currency. It is a neutral bridge. The on-demand liquidity system converts Reyes into XRP at the source, sends XRP across the ledger in 3 to 5 seconds, and converts XRP into Dong at the destination. 1 step. Fractions of a second, near 0 fees. Schwartz said it directly. Applications spanning multiple jurisdictions do not benefit as much from stability because a stablecoin can only be stable with respect to one currency. This is the first and most fundamental reason XRP cannot be replaced by any dollar stablecoin. Dollar stablecoins solve dollar problems. The world has a lot of non-dollar payment problems, and XRP is purpose-built to solve them. Think about emerging markets: Brazil, Nigeria, Indonesia, Vietnam, India. These are the fastest growing economies in the world. Their currencies do not trade directly against each other. Every cross-border payment between them requires multiple currency conversions through the dollar. XRP eliminates that friction entirely. That market is measured in trillions of dollars annually, and RLUSD cannot touch it. Step 3. The second reason XRP beats stablecoins: the freezing problem. Here is Schwartz's second point, and it is the one that will make the most sophisticated institutions take notice. Stablecoins can be frozen or clawed back by their issuers. This sounds technical, but the implications are enormous. RLUSD is a regulated stablecoin. Ripple controls it. That means Ripple, if ordered by a court or a government, can freeze RLUSD in a wallet. They can prevent transfers. They can reverse transactions. They are legally obligated to comply with court orders and regulatory demands. This is actually a feature for some use cases. Regulated institutions sometimes need the ability to freeze assets. That is one reason banks like using regulated stablecoins. But for other use cases, particularly cross-border payments between jurisdictions with different legal systems, the ability of one issuer to freeze funds based on one government's orders creates significant risk. Imagine a company in Singapore making a payment to a company in the Middle East. Both companies are legally compliant in their home jurisdictions, but a U.S. court issues an order freezing RLUSD transfers to certain regions for geopolitical reasons. Suddenly, a payment between 2 legally compliant companies in non-U.S. jurisdictions is blocked by a U.S. company's compliance department. This is not hypothetical. It has happened with USDC and USDT in various forms. Stablecoin issuers have frozen wallets at government request. The counterparty risk is real. XRP cannot be frozen by Ripple. It is a decentralized asset. Once a transaction is processed on the XRP ledger, it is final. No company can reverse it. No government can freeze a specific wallet through the issuer. The network does not have an override function. For cross-border payments in politically sensitive regions, between jurisdictions with conflicting legal systems, involving parties who need certainty that their funds cannot be seized by a third-party government action, XRP offers something RLUSD literally cannot: finality without counterparty control. Schwartz identified this directly. Stablecoins carry issuer control risks. Cryptocurrencies do not. Step 4. The third reason XRP beats stablecoins: the upside problem. This is Schwartz's most counterintuitive argument, and it is the one that most directly addresses what XRP holders care about. He said that if stability is not required, users may prefer a cryptocurrency over a stablecoin. He gave a specific example. If you are locking money in escrow for a year, would you rather hold US dollars or XRP? Think about that. In 1 year, dollars will be worth slightly less due to inflation. That is guaranteed. The Federal Reserve targets 2% inflation. Your dollar-denominated escrow loses value in real terms automatically. But XRP? XRP might be worth more in a year, significantly more. Based on the Clarity Act, based on institutional adoption, based on the supply compression data I covered in my last video, Based on the 630% historical rally pattern, if you are a company locking up collateral for 12 months, why would you choose an asset that is guaranteed to lose value to inflation over an asset that might gain value significantly? This argument applies to corporate treasury use cases, companies holding cash reserves, pension funds managing long-duration liabilities, any institution that needs to park value for medium to long-term periods. Schwartz said it simply. For most cryptocurrencies, most of the time, the upside is worth more than the downside. If I had to lock up some money in escrow for a year, I might well prefer XRP or Bitcoin to USD because I know USD is not going up. This is Ripple's own co-creator telling you that XRP as a store of value and escrow asset offers something stablecoins cannot provide: upside potential, growth, the possibility that your locked assets are worth more when you unlock them. Step 5. Why this matters specifically for April 13th. Now let me connect Schwartz's 3 arguments to what is coming in 8 days. April 13th, the U.S. Senate returns from recess. The Clarity Act can begin moving through committee. Victor Olanrewaju, an analyst at CCN, said directly that April 13th committee clearance would preserve the bill's relevance for the current market cycle and could prompt institutional investors to begin positioning ahead of potential demand. Think about what Schwartz's 3 arguments do to the Clarity Act's value for XRP. Right now, without the Clarity Act, U.S. banks are choosing RLUSD over XRP because of compliance risk. They cannot legally use a volatile asset for settlement without proper regulatory classification. When the Clarity Act passes, that compliance barrier disappears. Suddenly, all 3 of Schwartz's advantages become fully accessible to U.S. banks. The multi-currency bridge advantage. Banks in the U.S. can now legally route Brazilian to Vietnamese payments through XRP on-demand liquidity without compliance risk. The anti-freeze advantage. Institutions managing settlement for clients in multiple jurisdictions can choose XRP for the cases where counterparty freezing risk matters. The upside advantage. Corporate treasury teams managing long-duration cash positions can legally hold XRP as a potentially appreciating asset. The Clarity Act does not just remove a barrier. It simultaneously activates all 3 of the advantages that Schwartz just described. In a single piece of legislation, if that bill clears committee on April 13th, the market will start pricing in all 3 of those advantages before it even passes the full Senate. That is what markets do. They price in expectations, and the expectations that Schwartz's 3 arguments create, combined with the Clarity Act committee clearance, are potentially enormous for XRP's price. Step 6. My complete honest assessment and what you should watch. Let me pull everything together honestly. David Schwartz is not a YouTube analyst. He is not a Twitter influencer with no skin in the game. He is the man who built XRP. When he says there are 3 specific use cases where XRP wins over stablecoins, he is not guessing. He is describing the architecture he designed. Those 3 use cases are real: multi-currency payments, anti-freeze settlement, long-duration value storage. None of these use cases can be served by RLUSD. All 3 of them serve specific institutional needs that represent trillions of dollars in annual volume. Right now, those use cases are blocked by the Clarity Act not yet passing. Banks know XRP works for these cases. They cannot use it legally at scale until the regulatory framework exists. April 13th is the date that framework begins to move. April 16th is the Clarity Act roundtable. End of April is Garlinghouse's target for passage. The RLUSD story is real. Banks are using stablecoins today. I told you that honestly weeks ago. But the Schwartz story is also real. XRP has capabilities that stablecoins cannot replicate. The question has never been whether XRP has unique value. The question is when the regulatory permission arrives to use that value at institutional scale. That permission is 8 days away from beginning to move. Now I want to hear from you. Which of Schwartz's 3 reasons do you think is the most powerful argument for why XRP beats stablecoins? Type 1. If you think the multi-currency bridge advantage is XRP's strongest argument. Type 2 if you think the anti-freeze settlement advantage matters most to institutions. And type 3 if you think the upside escrow advantage will ultimately be what drives institutional adoption. Drop your answer in the comments right now. I reply to every single comment in the first hour this video is live. I want to know which argument this community finds most compelling. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell immediately. April 8th is 3 days away. The SEC remedies brief drops that day. April 13th is 8 days away. The Senate returns and the Clarity Act begins moving. April 16th is 11 days away. The Clarity Act Roundtable at the SEC. 3 events in 11 days. I am posting a video for every single one. Subscribe now or you will miss all 3. Thank you for watching. I will see you on April 8th, and I will see you in the next one.